is Alex really leaned into his own comedic style in the creative. So this campaign led to a 3,000% increase in TikTok followers on the Invisalign account in just 2 months. I'll play the video.
Action.
Invisalign treatment is comfortable. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Cut. Great job, everybody.
Oh, I was just about to offer you food, but I wouldn't want you to get anything stuck in your aligner.
Actually, with my Invisalign clear aligners, they're completely removable. I can eat whatever I want.
Cut. Great job, everybody. That's a wrap. Make sure to click the link in Alex's bio.
Okay, cut. We need more inceptions. Ace?
Awesome. HP leaned in this next example, HP leaned into the purpose-minded community on TikTok to kick off a hashtag challenge. They asked TikTokers, how do you reuse plastic in your everyday life? So in this example, Allison added authenticity to HP's message by tying her own mission to the brand's.
I collect ocean-bound plastic from all over the world that is melted down and made into thread, and then voila! It becomes my bikinis. So far, over 50 HP products contain ocean-bound plastic. This laptop is one of them. Join the Radical Reuse Challenge.
Great example. And this last TikTok that we're going to show is from Volkswagen and a partnership with Kurt Schneider and Nico. Following the success of the content that we're going to show you, Volkswagen actually licensed the video to use for other media channels, making this their first ever TikTok first campaign.
Hello, Eddie. Open the sunroof.
All electric.
A new ID4.
We made this big. Thanks to Volkswagen. All electric. Sadly, we couldn't find a rhyme for the word Volkswagen.
As you can see, there's so many different ways brands can integrate creators' unique niches and audiences, and it's all about finding what works for your brand, creative, and campaign goals, and how you're looking to integrate with your target audience.
I collect ocean-bound.
To sum it all up and to summarize some elements of all the content you've learned here over the course of the CapU semester, TikTok is reinventing how people and brands connect. Brands find success when they tap into these 4 pillars of TikTok's creator-centric DNA: sound, realness or authenticity, co-creation, and diversity. When embodying and leveraging these pillars, you can think TikTok first and build organic and paid content that will be successful, leveraging what creators already do on the platform every day. Cool. So let's talk about why creators are such a win for our creative agency partners, and also how to take a winning approach to your collaborations with creators. Before we do that, I want to do a quick pop quiz. Drop in the chat, or if we have the quiz, I'm not sure if we have it up, but what do you think when using a creator for paid media campaign, how much will your average engagement rate increase? And this isn't a trick question. You can think about a creator that has 5,000 followers or 5 million. As the guesses roll in, let's talk about all the different ways that creators can drive performance, and then I'll reveal the answer. Ads featuring TikTok creators can drive performance all across the marketing funnel. For our first stat reveal, TikTok creators can drive 27% higher ad recall in an ad. They can also drive 93% higher engagement. And drum roll for the answer, 193% higher 6-second view-through rate. So creating content specific to TikTok and partnering with creators is especially important for in-feed advertising. And this is the kind of performance that will drive content and brand recognition all across the board. So for those of you who guessed double, you were right. All creators, whether they have 1,000 followers or 1 million, can supercharge your paid performance. So there's so many talented creators on TikTok and so many different ways to tell a powerful story on the platform. It's more than possible for any brand to take good care and find the creator that works best for them. Cool. So as we've seen, TikTok creators are vehicles that can take moments and turn them into cultural movements. Working with any creator of any size following will double your engagement rate, and our largest TikTok creators can earn even 5 times higher engagement rates compared to our competitors. Consider our creators as consultants, experts, and just general best practice gurus for TikTok. They can add realness and authenticity to your campaign, and they can often be gateway to new audiences for your brand. But most importantly, creators are excited to work with you. They're eager collaborators, and they're excited to partner with you on whatever your objective may be on TikTok. So you're excited to tap into TikTok's fantastic creator community for your next briefer campaign, and you're probably wondering where to go to next. Sourcing the right creator partners has never been easier. Let us introduce the TikTok Creator Marketplace. This is our official platform for brand and creator collabs on TikTok. You may set up your account via Creator Marketplace at tiktok.com and instantly search, discover, and activate our community of over 500,000 creators across a variety of locations and content categories. Some of the basic features of the marketplace allow you to search for creators in relevant categories or with relevant audiences, contact those creators, and once content goes live, you can also analyze performance with our first-party reporting. On the next slide, we have a really quick demo video that overviews the platform.
Of TikTok Creator Marketplace. It's a self-serve portal that makes it easy to find creators that best align with your brand. It provides discovery tools to identify a diverse variety of creators. You can filter based on the type of content they post, where they're located, their average views, and more. If you're looking to recruit creators quickly for a specific campaign or source brand advocates over a longer period of time for an always-on approach, you can also post open application campaigns. Through this process, you can make your campaign brief viewable to broader segments of creators across the marketplace.
Awesome. So one final pop quiz before we bring on our special guest. What word would best describe why you might want to work with a creator on your next campaign? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Vibes. Love that. Fantastic. Seeing a lot of authenticity, a lot of engagement, and that's what we like to hear. Cool. Well, we're really excited to bring on our guest for a fireside chat. And I just wanted to quickly introduce Zachariah Porter. So if he's there, feel free to unmute yourself and reveal yourself.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Quick introduction. Zachariah is an East Coast creator with over 3.6 million followers on TikTok. Testing out retro kitchen gadgets, throwing on a wig, ranting on a couch. He'll bring his humor and positive energy to everything he creates. And because of TikTok, really proud of this, Zachariah has been invited on national morning talk shows, printed in major news publications, and has partnered with over 50 brands. One of these brands is Dunkin' Donuts, and we want to go ahead and play the TikTok that you sent us here.
Today's the day.
Pumpkin is back at Dunkin'.
Hi, can I please have a medium pumpkin spice signature iced latte?
Aw, it's never too early for pumpkin.
The leaves are changing, I told you. Fall's here.
Aw, little pumpkin.
Girls just want to have pumpkin.
Spooky.
I'm better in the fall.
Come on, can we get down there for a photo?
Never camping, always glamping. I don't care if it's August, babe. We're going apple picking.
Loving my pumpkin spice signature iced latte from Dunkin'.
You get it? Did you get the picture?
Look, I'm a witch.
I just maxed out my credit card on 14 Halloween costumes. I did.
Hey, come in the pool.
No, it's too cold out.
It's like 95 degrees.
Wow, you look really sweaty.
I'm not sweating, okay? Fall's here. Pumpkin is back. Do you have a towel or something? Keep going. Go ahead, guys.
Fantastic. Well, everyone give a round of applause. Zachariah, so excited to have you.
Today's the day.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Seriously.
Amazing. So let's get started with how you got started on TikTok.
Yeah, so my story started in 2019 in the early winter in January. I was stuck at home with strep throat, and I downloaded the app and I was scrolling the For You page. This was like prehistoric TikTok years ago, and there was a funny Kardashian like voiceover video, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make one. And I sat on my couch and I did all these different like costume changes or whatever, put so much effort into it, and I got like 10 likes. And I was hooked. I was like, this is so fun. And it wasn't the validation from the likes per se, but it was like the validation and like people thought I was funny. And then from there, I kept growing my account. I was on for another year and then the pandemic hit. And over the course of those last 2-3 years, I'm at 3.6 million. So it just continues to grow and it gets more fun every day.
I love it. So relatable and so funny.
Yeah.
What's the one video that changed everything for you?
It was definitely that year of 2019. I did this skit. I was a Harry Potter skit, and I had this like Hufflepuff costume, and I had blonde hair at the time. I had like bleached blonde hair, so I felt like a Slytherin. So I went in my bathroom and I crouched down and I pretended to be on a phone call, like calling my mom, being like, "Mom, pick me up. They put me in Hufflepuff. I'm supposed to be a Slytherin," like a complete brat. And I was like, "I don't care. Send a car, send a broom, get me out of here." And it blew up. It got like 200,000 like likes in a day. I was freaking out. It was my first like big moment. It got picked up by BuzzFeed at one point too, which for me at the time, I was like, I'm getting notoriety outside of this community I've built here. And it kind of turned on the heat for me to be like, oh, wait, I can really kind of pivot this into longevity. And it really inspired the growth to where I'm at today.
Amazing. You have a ton of brand and creative partners on the line, and they all, want to understand how to get into TikTok.
Yeah.
How do you take advantage of trends? What would you recommend to them on how you stay culturally relevant and tap into trends on the platform?
Yeah, I think the app does so much work for you. I think for me personally, interacting with the app every single day kind of keeps me in the know, because even if I don't know, somebody on there will know, and it always comes back to me. So I think just constantly engaging with the community I've built on there keeps me in the know. And for me, I always say to people, because everyone wants to know what the trends are, right? And I think it's always important to be like, not every trend is your trend. When it's your trend, it just clicks. If you're thinking about it so hard to get there, it's not your trend. And there's going to be another one tomorrow and then 17 next week. They're constantly evolving, which is the exciting part. But when you see something that just makes an instant connection, that's going to make an instant connection with your audience.
Fantastic advice. And I see the comments are blowing up. People are loving hearing from you.
Hi, everybody.
So you mentioned your community on TikTok. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how you found your community?
Yeah, I think community evolves over time. And I think the fun part about my TikTok community is that it's changed and it's grew. And I've connected with some people for years. And then some people I've kind of just like, I've ended up in like new communities. Like for a long time, like that one, I'm really into wigs now. Everyone should own a wig. You put on a wig, I'm telling you, it just changes your life. But I started out on always on like a coffee kind of TikTok, like that kind of community. And then a lot of humor based. And I wasn't always a cook, but then I got into the kind of kitchen gadget TikTok. And I think it's when you develop new interests by interacting on the app, and it's kind of created, like you said in your presentation, you can introduce new hobbies here. So I think you are constantly inspired by the For You page. And then the more you interact with certain communities, they take over your page and that becomes your community.
Amazing. Well, clearly you have found so much success in developing that for yourself and for community. And now brands are tapping in. They want to learn about what it's like to actually work with a brand. So tell us a little bit about, from your experience, what makes a really great brand partnership?
Yeah, I've been very lucky over the course of my journey on TikTok to work with over 50 brands. And I would say majority of them have been absolutely amazing. And the kind of commonality of like what I think is a successful brand partnership, in my opinion, is always trust and communication. I think we're in this new digital age where like the influencer is kind of like, it's disappearing, and it's this new kind of idea of like content creators, people, they feel there's a more of a trust with people like me and what we do. So I think that there needs to be trust on both ends, that we understand our audience and we understand this app. Like, this is my full-time job. And I don't ever sign up for a partnership that I think is not going to be successful for both of us, because it's also our reputation on the line. Like, we want everything to go well. So I think in that early phases of like talking to creators, understanding that we both want the best possible outcome. And when we work together on it as a team, like, I've seen it, like the results are absolutely magical, and it's fun. It's fun for both of us.
Yeah, your Dunkin' video is such a great example because it felt like it was right up your alley. Can you tell us a little bit more about that specific example?
They are such a dream. They're like, so I'm from, if you don't know, I'm from Massachusetts, and we like live and breathe Dunkin'. It's in our veins. It's like, it's sick. And that was one of my first kind of pandemic videos that blew up, and I got a really big following from an iced coffee video early on. And they reached out, they followed me back. It was like a crazy experience. And then after me kind of just showing brand loyalty to them, it developed into a partnership, which I think is interesting, especially from the brand side. There is a lot of creators on here who are just simply talking about brands that they love. And those are the people you kind of want to tap into. So Duncan saw that I wasn't fishing for a collab. I was just talking about my love of the brand, which that's why the natural progression of our like work together has been so great and so well received. So when I had already done a couple ads with them, but it was really funny because when I pitched that idea, I was like, are they going to let me do this? Because I'm kind of poking fun at that stereotype of like the girl in the fall who just gets so into it, and she owns every sign, she knows every like catchy phrase for a caption. And I pitched it to them, and they were like, you know what? Like, we get you, we trust you, and we know that you understand the brand, so run with it. And it was so well received. And it was great too, because it started off just as like a TikTok ad, but then they got usage rights after it. They used it on their own platforms afterwards because they saw how well received it was. And it was fun to see people just interact with it in the way that I wanted them to. And it's fun. It's a fun way to introduce that pumpkin is back, but in the beginning of August. You know, it's like, it's a little too early for pumpkin, but they were in on the joke. So they were cool with it, you know?
And it's never too early for pumpkin. Okay, great. So you, as I mentioned, you have an audience full of creative agency representatives, and they would love to know, what do you like about working with them? And we're going to get to what you don't like.
Yeah.
But we want to focus first on what you like.
What I like working with creative agencies is that, more so than facing on a brand side, creative agencies really understand social media. You really understand kind of the timeline and the needs, because you're constantly working in it every single day. So I really like the knowledge that comes with working with an agency, because they're just so fully immersed in it. So that's like my biggest thing that I love with agencies.
Okay. And then what is the most challenging thing about working with agencies?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say it's like with agencies in general, it's just certain agencies that have experience. Sometimes it's what I spoke on a little earlier. It feels like sometimes there is such an idea that's so fully formed that by the time that me or people I've talked to that do this as well, by the time that we're brought into this idea, there's no room for us to breathe in it, you know? And sometimes the people that follow us, right, they are so knowledgeable of who we are as people, because we're become friends with these people through a phone. So when they see an ad that doesn't fit us, it doesn't register and it doesn't work, right? So there needs to be room for us to be able to breathe our kind of perspective into it. And that's the only time, and it's not all the time, right? But just some agencies, we're being brought in a little late on the conceptual side of it, which feels like it's harder for us to be ourselves, which is the whole point of it, you know?
Yeah, and this actually is it's a bit of a change in topic, but oftentimes you may be considered as talent. How would you try to, not battle against, but change that notion as many of our agency partners?
Of course. Yeah, well, first of all, I love the word talent. No, but I like it in it's a silly way. But yeah, I think talent in this kind of industry, right? Talent kind of assumes to someone that's like, maybe not in the personality focused situation, like they're showing up and they're kind of like, oh, like, what are my lines? What am I doing here, right? And that might make sense for that. But especially with creators in my field, and I would say really on TikTok in general, we're more personality focused. So we don't need the direction of like, just so rigid. Like, I think it's changing that narrative of being like, no, it's more collaborative versus like, okay, this is what you're doing.
And that's not to say you're not a talent.
Because I just love that word. Call me talent any day.
We're so like, you're not an actor. You're bringing something to it. You're engaging with the brief in a way that it's not just a script.
Yeah, and I love that. And it's fun because we work so closely with agency partners too throughout like an entire campaign, from like conception to video submission and everything, and even like talking about like the end results. So it is really relationship building. And I think a lot of us have the intention to really work so well because we want everyone to do well. And it's so funny. And I'm gonna bring it up, and I didn't even tell you about this, but I got this in the mail today from an agency partner. And I did an ad with Grubhub and Taco Bell, and the agency, she reached out to me and just wrote me like a thank you note. And it was the sweetest thing ever. And it just made me feel on my side that my work was super valued because I put so much effort into it and it was so successful. But for her to reach out like a month after the campaign, just being like, hey, just wanted to follow up and say thank you so much. I was like, Ermi, come on, that was so sweet of you. So it's fun to build relationships, and because I think we all really want that.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit how you would demystify the process with working like an amazing brand partnership or creative partnership. Tell us about your process.
I think like the process of like them finding us, or like the process of like how I work with a brand.
Yeah, like the partnership process.
Yeah, I think I think for brands seeking out creators on TikTok, I think the process is really just understanding your brand and what works best for you. Some people work, some brands like really want demo kind of stuff, right? And they're going to work with like a cook who's like really knowledgeable, but some people want that entertainment kind of aspect. So I think it's really identifying like what kind of content you want, maybe spreading out a little bit, and then just engaging on the app and find creators that you actually enjoy, because it's going to make the work, like the partnership, just so much better. And then through like that natural integration, it's going to work great, you know?
Absolutely. Trust and communication, I think you sent to me.
Oh, yes. It is. And I don't ever want to beat the dead horse about that, but it really is all about just trust and communication. And if I'm aware of all the points, right, to hit on this from the very beginning, before we even talk about concept, the concept is going to flow so much better because I'm so in the know about it. And then I think the trust really comes in on both of our ends. I want the brands to trust me enough to be able to take my spin on it because I know my audience and I know how this app works because I just do it every single day, all day. And I just want that kind of open flow of communication so that we always feel like we're both being heard. You know, I don't ever want to feel like I'm not being understood. And for the most part, I will say, it's gotten so much better because everyone's used to it now. I think we've seen that TikTok isn't going anywhere. It's getting bigger and better every single day.
Great. So getting some questions about brands dipping their toe into TikTok and understanding how to create like a creator. So what would you offer as advice on finding what resonates most with your audience and with, you know, the content you've created on your channel?
In an ad sense?
In
general. Oh, so in general for me, like what resonates best with my audience is humor. People understand I am a creator that my whole goal in life is to bring joy and to make people laugh. And that's what I've built this community on. So everything I do is centered around laughter or positivity or like a sense of joy at all times. And that's what I would say. That's what I would leverage my account as.
Amazing. And what do you think makes TikTok different?
It's so different. It's different on every level. First of all, the exposure. On no other platform can you post a video and get the amount of traction from people who have never seen you before. Because it's that beauty of the algorithm, which is like, I don't even know how it works, but it's just like, it's intertwining people who already know you with people who don't know you. And the more you kind of work in different segments, you're constantly reaching different audiences and continuously growing, right? But with the same people who've always known you, but with new people who've never seen you. Like there's people who follow me and they're like, I've never seen you before. And I've been on the app for 2.5 years. But then there's people who've been with me to 2.5 years and they're still consistently seeing me. And I think the way that you reach different people is truly what's different about TikTok. And it's fresh. I don't think there's not that like energy on the app that feels stale or a little bit more reserved. People come on the app to be fun, to be silly, to really be authentic. And I think it would be the most authentic of apps. you know?
Love that. We talk about authenticity a lot.
Yeah.
So we have quite a few, like just a few minutes left in our session, and I wanted to go ahead and peek into the Q&A. So I'm kind of picking at random here. But okay, this one's from Jasmine. Do you feel like being a creator requires having some level of production? Obviously your content is authentic, but is it produced more than we think?
Yeah, it depends. It depends, right? Some of my videos are so point and shoot, go with it, and it just works. But it really all depends. Like some things really make it look effortless, but there is definitely production involved. Some videos take me like 3 to 6 hours just to edit. And then I'll have like a video where I'm like, I went to a thrift store and found this like cotton candy machine. But people don't know that I spent like 4 hours that day driving around to make this video. But that's how I approach content. Like I have the intention to entertain at the highest level, which is very stressful sometimes, but like I enjoy it. So there is a level of production in really everything, but some more than others.
That makes perfect sense. And obviously more time to produce, the better your branded content will be. So I'll just make that quick plug for all the brands out there
definitely, for sure.
Thinking about partnering with you. Cool. So another question from the audience, from Arlene, how can you push for fun, authentic content when the brand is scared of content that is silly or weird? Things that we know make sense for TikTok's audience. Have you come across this before?
Yeah, I have. It depends on the brand. I think that's why that conversation really early on with what the goal of the campaign is so critical, because that really falls back into trust, right? If you're reaching out to a creator who's built this insane audience on fun and silliness, that has to resonate at all times. It's going to seem like a fish out of water if this ad doesn't have that. And maybe your brand isn't for that creator, right? And that's the beauty of this. There's so many different creators in it. And there's some creators on there who are very like straightforward and with the facts, and they have a huge audience too, because people want that of them. I think it's understanding what kind of creator you want to work with, and then finding that kind of video that matches, because it's not worth anybody's time to take a creator who doesn't do something because of like whatever their audience is, and to try to mold them to what you want, because their audience is not going to resonate with it, and it's not going to be the outcome that you want.
Absolutely. All about diving into that authenticity. And even if it's not a silly creator that you might want to work with, or someone who really specializes in humor, there's plenty of creators out there who have found unique communities that may be a better fit for that brand. One last question before the final question.
Okay.
How do you work with agency feedback? And what do you think is the best way for an agency to approach giving feedback in a TikTok environment? And this came from Darren.
I think feedback's great, right? I think it's understood and it's known. And I think what I love to see too, and I've never really run into it because I truly try to understand the brief at first, but usually when we get these briefs, right, and with contracts, we have these like, there's always clauses in there like, oh, we are required to do this many rounds of feedback, if not. So I'm already under the understanding that there's going to be some adjustments. I think the more we understand each other in the beginning, the less we'll need that. But I'm never afraid of somebody coming back and saying, can you do it this way? Can you change it this way? Because it's not offensive. It's not rude, because at the end of the day, like, I'm working with you as a partnership. So I think it's understood that we both have certain needs. And if some things need to be edited or changed, it happens and it's okay. I think timeline is super great. I would just say that you just give us a little bit of time, especially with like natural lighting. Sometimes I'll get like a feedback thing late at night and I'm like, well, it has to wait till the morning because it's going to look really off with the lighting. I think it's just understanding that things take a little bit of time on our side, but as long as we have open communication and trust, like we always say, it's understood and it's welcomed. We want it to be the best outcome for everybody.
Natural light. I mean, things that just look, you know?
Yeah, you need, the lighting has to match up. It's got to look good. It can't look
of course. One of our best practices. Amazing. So my final question, you have tons of folks on the line. What is one of the dream brands that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
It's so funny. And I always tell people this too. This industry is so fun because you can wake up every day and you can get an email that can change your life. Like you just never know who's going to come knocking at your door, which is so fun. But my dream brand to work with would be Disney. I just feel like they are larger than life. And I think I kind of have a lot of the energy that the brand already works with. So that's my dream brand. But Hey, I'm not saying no to anybody. Come on down. If we match, we match. But I've been very, very lucky and very blessed to be able to do it at the capacity that I do it. So I know I take a lot of care in what I do. And I know a lot of people who I'm friends with that do this as well. We're all super stoked and honored that people want to work with us. So thank you for working with us, everybody.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for imparting your wisdom. It's really been such a pleasure to see you, hear from you, and learn a little bit more about the process.
Thank you. And thank you for everybody else. Thanks for having me. Seriously, I love it. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you, Zachariah, and thank you, Alessi. This has been a super, super insightful session. If anyone on this call works with Disney, let them know that Zachariah. Before we let you all go, I do want to give you all just a chance to scan these QR codes. So, by the way, before we get into that, my name is Jordan Randall and I lead creative agency partnerships for North America. And this QR code on the left is your opportunity to get in touch with our team. You can ask questions, you can submit a request to meet with us in person if you have an active brief with an existing client. And then on the right is access to our TikTok creator marketplace. If these QR codes aren't working for you, Allison will be able to drop that into the chat so that you can just click those links and save those for a later date. But really want to thank you all for just joining us for CAP University. If this is your first session or if this was your fifth session, thank you for participating. Thank you for staying up late. For people who are not on the North America time zones, really appreciate you making that sacrifice to come and learn about TikTok. Just to let you all know, we are going to be offering these courses as videos. So look out for that email. Whatever email you use to enroll in these courses will be the email that we use to email you access to these videos. And we hope to see you at future semesters. There's going to be a survey that happens at the end of this session. You have the opportunity to let us know if you have any specific topics that you want to explore in the future, and just give us overall feedback. How was the experience? Did you enjoy it? Do you want more? How can we make this more valuable for you and your clients and your agency in the future? But have an amazing weekend, and we'll be in touch with you all soon. Thank you.
Record.